My first question to you is, will it affect the longevity of the government in Manipur? And this political crisis, post-security crisis, what is the big picture emerging?
I think it is a social crisis, no doubt, of proportions that independent India has barely seen. We are at a cusp where the future roadmap seems very, very hazy. I wouldn't have used these words, say 6 months back, 7 months back, where I still felt that there is some ground which couldn't be created for both the parties to come together. I don't want to belittle this crisis from political positions, like what is going to happen to the government and all. Government, from by sheer numbers, your viewers can easily understand that BJP government as such, just from assembly strength, is not under threat. And NPP has had a very distraught relationship with the BJP in the state of Manipur, even in the first term of N. Biren Singh. So I will not go into that. But if there is anything that the political class of Manipur can do to address this issue, address and calm the nerves of people there, they should do that. Because people of Manipur, and especially the valley people, they have, even in the past, almost 2 decades back, when this event happened against the Naga community, and the interlocutor then, or the national security advisor then, used this term of on the Naga talks, used
Needs
this
to
term of
stop somewhere. It has
no.
been 1.5 years. I know you are not the spokesperson of Biren Singh anymore, so it's not incumbent on you to take any position. But I think buck needs to stop somewhere.
Yes, and political heads is the easy head that you can put a gun on. The public puts a gun on politicians' head every 5 years. What about the bureaucracy? What about the armed forces that are there? Everybody needs to have a fair share of responsibility in this whole thing. Political class foremost. The first head that should roll is of the political class. But there are other important stakeholders in the security establishment where who should also be held responsible for the deepening crisis in the state of Manipur. There are two very senior retired army and BSF personnel also on your show. They should also come out and say there are almost a deployment of 70,000 armed forces in the state of Manipur. And I can imagine they can't raise arms against their own citizens, but there have to be some protocols to be put in place such that, violent attacks on camps, attacks and molestations of women and rape of women do not happen. Ultimately, I don't
Okay.
think that the security establishment is reporting to the chief minister at all. It is
Okay.
reporting to the security advisor there,
Okay, let
and
me
through
take.
through
ठीक
the
है,
home minister.
but ठीक है, but this is a position, this is a situation, this is a structure that has been put in position by the decisions taken in Delhi
But who
by
is who
senior
is who is going
leadership.
to hold that accountable? That apparatus has to be held accountable as well.
Apparatus had
Political,
to be
yes.
accountable. Let me take this question to the people who had really served our armed forces, had been at the head of the institutions. So first to you, General Roy, and then I'll go to Mr. Mishra. To you, would you like to respond to it?
Karthikeya, my first puzzle is that this violence has been now going on for last year and a half nearly. And I have not seen a single instance in this country in my 42 years of service wherein the armed forces were called in to control a situation and situation was not controlled. This also includes a very high level of insurgency which had started in Mizoram, wherein even the Air Force was used by the armed forces during that time. And that is the single instance where the air power was used against the militants, but situation was under control. So has been the case in J&K where the level of violence had peaked in the 90s. So therefore, my first question is, I do not know, while my earlier spokesperson, I mean earlier speaker, he did say that total 70,000 security forces are deployed there and they respond to the security advisor. But my question here is that what is the proportion of, what is the quality of these security forces? That is issue number one. What is the synergy between these forces deployed with the local police there and the local civil bodies which are there, because in all such cases, the armed forces are in aid to civil authorities. The question number three is that Imphal was the only area where Armed Forces Special Power Act was not effective. Has that situation been changed? Is the Armed Forces Special Power Act now applicable in the city of Imphal also or not? So, unless I have these inputs, I will not be able to comment in totality, but suffice to say that not in the past ever since independence that the armed forces were called in to control a situation, including 84 riots, that situation was not being able to be controlled. So here the dynamics at play where situation is not being able to be controlled are very, very different. And many times this on this very show, there have been instances where even the narratives had been played up, where the information has been played up, it has been given and then denied. So therefore, here in this particular case, it appears to be a very, very strange situation. I do not have all the inputs available to me to very effectively comment on this issue which was raised by the earlier speaker.